Hello, welcome to this, my next and latest chess video. This is a game that I've just played today. That is Sunday the 1st of June 2014. I'm calling this video Game of the Week. It was a good game for me. I'm black here. It's a 5-minute Blitz game on the free internet chess server. At the moment I'm just rated about 1200. I was up to just over 1300, but I played a few games yesterday and I played really badly, and my rating's fallen all the way back down to just around 1200, and I want to get that back. And this was a good game that I played today, and I'm going to do a series of my games called Game of the Week. So this is kicking that series off. My opponent, as I say, white, is rated just on 1400, so it was quite a reasonable win for me. Okay, well, the French defence, I've shown that in my other videos before, and I'll just go straight on with the game. White plays e4, I play as black e6, my favourite opening. Now white will generally grab the centre and play d4, and as black, the French carries on with d5, and in general the French is all about white trying to establish a central pawn bind and establish control in the centre with his pawns, and black is setting out to break this down. And there are many moves that white could do, as I've shown in my other videos. White could play knight c3, which is the classical variation and one that Bobby Fischer used to employ a lot. Or it could play knight d2. It could even, which is a Tarrasch variation, by the way, and that's a well recognised and good variation. Or he could actually play, well, the advanced variation e5, or white could play e takes d, whereas then black plays e takes d back, and that's the exchange variation. I don't want to go through those, I've mentioned them before. So if you've not seen my other videos, do have a look. So here white plays e5, the advanced variation, and as black I go straight on with c5. Immediately putting a question mark onto that white centre, pawn centre, and the standard and mainline reply for white is c3, which just bolsters the centre. The other drawback for white is it stops his knight going to the best square, which is knight c3, but it may or may not be a drawback. So I, as black, develop knight to b6, and this is putting more pressure on the white centre. White develops knight to f3, which sort of equalises the pressure, developing move, and equalises the centre pressure. And here I play queen b6. There are other moves in the position. This queen b6 is well known and starts many games in French defence like this, and it's known as the Wade variation. The point here is the black queen is on the queen side, but putting pressure on the centre indirectly, and indirect pressure on the b2 pawn if the white dark squared bishop ever moves. So it's something to be aware of. White's got several moves here. He could play bishop to e2, but here he plays bishop d3. This is known as the Milner-Barry variation, gambit variation, and it's something that I actually play as white myself. And here it looks as if black could win a pawn by playing c takes d. White would play c takes d back, and then if black was tempted to play pardon me, knight takes d, knight takes d, queen takes d, that would fail because white has a very simple trick of playing bishop from d3 to c5 with a check. Black would either have to move his king or block it with the bishop to avoid the check, and that has also put a discovered attack from white's queen on the black queen, and white would just play queen takes queen, and that is more or less game over. So you have to be aware of that, and I have fallen victim to that one or two times in my career, and I don't want to chess career. That's a euphemism in my chess games anyway. I don't want to fall victim again, but I do actually want to undermine the centre, so I do play an early c takes d, and white does play c takes d back, but I cannot now go back and play those moves, knight or queen takes, due to falling victim to a discovered attack on my queen. So first of all I do play bishop to d7, and that blocks any potential checks on my black king at the moment. So now this queen is free to move with more authority and more purpose, should we put it that way. So white takes the opportunity to castle kingside, get king safety, which is fine. Now I elect to develop, so I'll play knight to e7 with my possibility of my knight going to f5 or to g6. And white here plays his dark squared bishop out, bishop to e3, and that's leaving the b2 pawn vulnerable, and I could, I guess, go down and take that, but I have fallen victim to some white funny business in the past, and I'm a little bit nervous of doing that, and what I really want to do is complete my development. So instead I just played the basic knight g6. It's the second knight move, but it does allow my dark squared bishop to come out along the diagonal and then give me space to castle kingside. So white here elects to put his knight on bd2, which is a sort of Tarrasch move. I'm not sure why he does this, because I don't really think the knight belongs on b3, which is where it's going to go to, but hey ho, he's eyeing up getting his knight onto a knight outpost at c5, which is reasonable, I guess, although it's not nowhere near as destructive, shall we say, as getting the knight onto the d6 outpost, and that's an issue with the white advanced pawns. They can become nice outposts for knights or bishops, or in fact any piece really, but knights and bishops can be most effective. Anyway, I carry on simply developing bishop to e7, getting ready to castle kingside. White plays his knight again, knight to b3, and here I simply play a6. I don't want the bishop rather to come to b5. It can't at the moment, but it could have done if the queen had been on the diagonal e2. And now white plays rook on a1 to c1, trying to get control of the c file, the open c file, and that's a feature of the French defence that I've mentioned in my other videos. So I just equalise the pressure and play rook to rook on a8 to c8. Here white, probably fearful, he completes his development with queen to e2, maybe queen to d2 might have been better to go on the battery with the bishop. It may also have been better to put the queen on c2, but that's a bit risky facing below the black rook, so possibly not to do that one. I take the opportunity to get my king safe and castle kingside. White now brings that knight out to c5 on the knight outpost, and I just don't like that knight being there. It's a little bit awkward and tricky, so I play bishop takes knight, and that slightly does undermine the white centre, and white plays d takes knight, d takes bishop on c5 rather, and I have to move my queen. I bring the queen right back to d8 because I'm looking to get it on this diagonal and take part in assisting a break along the f file, which I'm planning to do, and happens often in the French defence actually. I could have put it on c6, but I really don't like the fact that for the moment there it would be facing off the white rook, and that's always slightly dubious. White though plays the good move that I hadn't really counted on, bishop to g5, attacking my queen. So instead I move my queen again to e8, where it's reasonably alright and can still get it onto the action in the f file, but just a bit slower than I was hoping. White here plays a3. He's going to expand on the queen side and try and carry out a queen side attack, which is a bit unusual because, as I say in the French, white should be planning on a king side attack and black should be playing on the queen side, but there we are. Anyway, I now play h6, attacking the white bishop, and the white bishop goes all the way back to d2. And I start my plan of expanding on the f-file with f6, but white ignores that and plays h4. He's finally trying some sort of an attack on the king side, and so I simply open up the f-file by playing f takes e5. White again ignores that pawn and plays h5, attacking my knight, but my knight has a reasonable square to go to, knight f4, and white has to deal with the threat of me now attacking his queen. So he does capture the knight, bishop takes knight, and I can play e takes bishop, e takes f4, and now I've undoubled my pawns, and so I'm quite happy with that. The only drawback is this knight now from f3 comes into e5, which is another hole at the moment in my pawn structure, and is reasonable for him. Well, I don't like that, so I just play knight takes knight. As I say, I don't like the minor pieces getting into these holes, and here now obviously white's played queen takes back, queen takes knight, and I elect to put my queen and rook on the same battery, and this completes my development. So my rooks are connected now, and I really want to think about pushing my f pawn further and just pushing my central pawns. That really is the plan I'm thinking on. White scotches that plan for the moment by playing f3, so my play on the f-file is not as productive as I wanted it to be, but I just played queen to f6, trying to induce a queen trade. White doesn't want a queen trade and instead plays queen to d6, attacking my light squared bishop, which I protect with rook on c8, rook on f8 to d8. Protect the bishop. White now plays his queen over to the queen side with queen to b6, attacking the b7 pawn. But I bolster that now with bishop to c6, and I think that's quite a nice move, because this queen now is locked on the queen side, the white queen, and where it really needs to be is on the king side, attacking my king, and it's going to take a few moves for it to unlock itself and get over to the king side, so that is in my favour. White now plays his bishop though onto g5, preserving the h5 pawn, and that's proving a nice outpost for that bishop, and it's proving a bit of a thorn in my side, but I just ignore it, and now I want to get going with my plan of pushing my centre pawn, so I play e5. White plays b4, trying to attack on the queen side now. So it's all a bit strange this anyway, but I play carry on with e4, attacking with my centre pawns, and white plays f takes e4, doesn't want to concede or have my pawns just keep rolling up the board. I recapture, d takes e4, and white now plays rook to c4, so he's now attacking my e pawn twice with his bishop and his rook. So I play rook to d4, attacking the white rook, and we exchange rooks. Rook takes rook, and I recapture queen takes rook. And the nice thing about that move is it gives me a tempo, because queen takes rook d4 is with check, and the white king now has to move, and that gives me time to carry on with my plan and push e3 and keep moving these pawns threateningly up the board. White now moves his bishop to f5. His queen is still not able to get into the action at the moment, and white's attacking my rook with the bishop, so I move my rook on c8 to f8, attacking the bishop. White now plays bishop into the centre, which is reasonable. Bishop to e6, check, and I move my king into the corner, and the king is still relatively safe there, so black king to h8. White finally plays his queen to c7 and is trying desperately to get that queen into the game, but I have a good move here, and that is queen to e4. Why is it good? Because the queen and bishop are on this diagonal together, and I have a checkmate move. Queen takes g2 is checkmate. This white king is, shall we say, not well protected in that position. White's best move, I think, is to play rook to f3 to block that check, but at the same time this queen move is so good. Queen is very strong in the centre because it's also, as well as threatening checkmate, it's attacking the white bishop, so I have the chance of playing queen takes bishop and go up a piece and still have these pawns to roll on. So I'm in a very good position. White just ignores all of that and brings his queen up to d6, hoping to play queen takes rook on f8 with a check, but it's curtains. As we've just seen, I can play the good move, queen takes g2, checkmate, and that's game over. So a good win for me. That I enjoyed that game in the French defence, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this on the FrenchAdvance variation, and I hope I can post some more good games and game of the weeks and get my rating up, and that you can maybe learn some things for it. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and that's all for now. Bye.